We're continuing now. Be'ez Hashem Yisborach v'siyata d'shmaya. We started the second parak. The second parak talks about a Kohen Mashiach. That is a Kohen Gadol that makes an erroneous ruling and he follows his own erroneous ruling. And the Torah says he also must bring a par for that error that he made. So now we're going to start. Ma Yachid im ochel b'lo heroy chayev av zeh im ochel b'lo heroy chayev. Just like an individual, if he ate a piece of fat without a ruling, just he thought it's not fat, and that's why he ate it. So you think maybe a Kohen is also like that. He's just like the nation. Just like the nation, we say, only chayav to bring a par if it came through Horayoth, through a ruling that was erroneous. The same when the Kohen brings a carbon, it only applies, this din is only applicable when he made a ruling, and because of that ruling, he went ahead and did what he did. And is Tanitana ha'am. So there's two Tanaim. It's that the pasuk says, "Ima kohen Mashiach yechatol ashmas ha'am." So what is the word am? Some say the word am means basin. The interpretation of am in this context means basin. Ma am, just like the am, hoyruhein means the basin. They said the ruling I might have thought that this is also true in the case of a kohen, that if he made a ruling and somebody else followed it, or let's say a majority of people followed it, then he has to bring a carbon. So this is the drash you learn out from the Ashmas that I might have thought that here in this context means basin. So we might have said that a kohen is in this respect similar to a basin, that just like a basin, if somebody else does, the basin is responsible. Here, if somebody else does, the kohen is responsible. Talmud Leiman, no, he doesn't bring only in his own sin. Is Tanayatona, some Tanoim say, is Tanayatona ha'am tzibur. The Ashmas ha'am does not mean the basin. In this context, the word am means the public. If so, if again, similar question can be raised if you interpret the word am to mean the public. So maybe we should say like this, that a kohen is similar to the public. In which respect? Just like the public, even if somebody else said it and they did it, they're chayiv. So it's interesting drash, because here it means chayiv tzibur because they have to pay for the par, and here it would mean that a kohen is chayiv even though he is an individual and he followed the ruling of a basin. Maybe nevertheless he has to bring something. And here it means that since somebody else said the psak, it's not totally his sin. So either case, there's two drushes here. Number one, if the kohen made the error ruling and somebody else followed it, the kohen does not bring. If somebody else makes the false ruling and the kohen follows it, the kohen does not bring either. These are the two. This is the upshot from this sugya. This thing that we say that a kohen Mashiach has the capability of making a ruling, is talking that he has certain knowledge in learning and he can make a ruling. The luchein mana omrem b'yesh shoyta moirim. Can you have a shoyta, somebody that can he be, means for sure it's like that. The Gemara is like wondering, why do you even have to tell me that? For sure, obviously, it's obvious. Why do you have to say it? It's like a question on why did you need to say it. Mashiach she'ach b'roi is beis potter. He had this before, that if he followed the ruling of a beis, he does not bring a korban. He has the same exemption like an individual that followed the ruling of a beis. Just like an individual that followed the ruling of the high court, we cannot make him liable because he followed the ruling. So the Kohen also has that same exemption. By Ros Mashiach Acher Chayiv. Let's see. By Ros based in Potish Ein Rois Sa'itz Ros in Klum. It means the ironic cross al Shmom. Even if the Kohen agreed, if he followed Bezdin, it's considered like he did it because they said. His own ruling doesn't really count. Ros Mashiach Acher Chayiv Yishahoyer Ki Yitzabay. Means there was two Kohanim, two high priests, and one of them said something. And then the other guy said, yes, you're right. And then he follows his own ruling. That's considered his own ruling. Because it's not, you cannot blame anyone. You can't say the other guy said so, because you're just as big as the other guy. So the reason why you did it is because you said so. And that is exactly the din of Kohen Mashiach. That a Kohen Mashiach makes a mistake, and he brings a korban. Then he follows his own erroneous ruling. He has to bring a korban. If he made a ruling for himself and he followed his ruling, he brings his own korban. Besides this before, means if it wasn't only him, the high court also said you can eat that fat, and he just shook his head. So we don't count him as an individual priest making an erroneous ruling. We look at it more like he's following the general error that the high court made. Ve'ein beis nechayav she'ein means ve'ein. As yoyru levatel miktzis lekayim miktzis. Zechena Mashiach. All these things are only applicable when they don't uproot the whole thing. They just partially uproot. But by the Zara, the same when it comes to the Zara, there's also either. Rabbi Zara is, let's assume we're talking about Beis. Beis says that you can do a certain type of idol worship. So it's only then that they bring a Paranasar when they do not uproot the full thing. Zod Gemara. Hoiru Beis. Beis made a ruling, and he ruled after them, Behechlef. However, he switched. He switched. What does it mean? I explained. Beizin atiru chaylev shel kol yemin, vehu hitek chaylev shel smoil. He said not this kidney, the other fat. He changed. Pshita nices etz like a kiris guf. So what happens here, according to the ruling, if you follow the ruling of the Beizin of the court plus his ruling, means that there's no more chaylev in the Torah, because that's the sum. The Beizin said you can eat 50% of the fat, and he said you can eat the other 50%. So the first 50% is definitely a ruling, because he accepted what the Beis Din says, and he is just adding another 50%, means you can eat whatever you want. That's considered a kiris haguf, and the Kohen does not bring a korban, because that's considered that he made a psak, an hira, that's uprooting everything, and that's not considered a valid hira, it's not considered a valid ruling, so he cannot bring a par for that. Hello, the question can be asked like this. Different story. What's the question? Hoira hu tchila. He's the first one. First one, he said the first 50%. Let's call it, let's say the animal has fats A and B. So the Kohen says, made his ruling first, he said you can eat fats A, not fat B. Beis Din said, no, you can eat only B, not A. I feel nice, that's like a kiris guf. Is that also considered like he's uprooting everything? So here, he made first the ruling on that you can only eat fat A and not fat B, and then they switched it. So could be that when they switched it, we say it was never in a point of time that he made a ruling that you can eat whatever you want. Because when he made it, it was only his 50%. When they said you can eat the other, they were already pushing away his psak. So at no point in time was there, on at least in the Kohen Gadol's conscience, there was no time that he could say you can eat whatever you want. Because when he said it, only 50% was permitted. Once the Beis came, they knocked him off, so they only said the other 50%. So if the Beis came first, and then he came, we say, okay, the Beis said something, and he's adding. He can't say he's subtracting, because he cannot fight with them to put down their ruling that they said it's permitted. So that's why in the first case, it's for sure considered that he's, according to his mind, everything is okay. Because whatever the Beis said, that's standing very strong. You can't move that. Beis said you can eat A, you can eat A. He says you can eat B, so A is still permitted. Beis said you can't move that. He just added B. That means according to him, right now, everything is okay. In the other case, the second case, first the Kohen made the ruling, and then the Beis went against him. And the Beis says, no, you cannot follow what you said. You can only do something else. So that is maybe considered that there is never a time that the whole fat was totally knocked out. Because in the beginning, it was only his fat. When Beis came along, nitches Horayoth, his number A got, his 50% got knocked off. We're only left with the Beis's 50%. So there was never a ruling to say everything is permitted. So this is the shaila here. Just one more line. Hoyru Beizin v'hoyru achrein pshita ochal v'hoyru Beizin potter. If this is the Mishnah, that if Beizin, going back to the original story, Beizin said a certain ruling that you can eat a certain fat, and he just followed along. He said, yes, I agree to Beizin. Pshita ochal v'hoyru Beizin potter. That means consider that he's eating v'hoyru Beizin. He's part of this general error that Beizin made, and he does not bring a carbon because it's not his ruling, it's Beisin's ruling, and he's part of everybody else that belongs to the call and not specifically to the Kohen.